Daily Detroit is brought to you by the community. Support our work at patreon.com/dailydetroit.
This is your Daily Detroit for Thursday, March 26th, 2020. I'm Jer Stays. Today, we'll run down the local stories you should know around the coronavirus. Then, I chat with Angela Rogansey from Playworks, Michigan, and she's got some resources to keep your kids active. And finally, the city of Detroit is going to build a temporary dam. Let's get started, first with a big roundup of what's happening out there. And here we go with the official coronavirus numbers today that continue to rise. What's getting shaky here is that a couple of counties are reporting more deaths than the state is. Michigan officially now has 2,856 cases and officially 60 deaths. However, Oakland County is reporting 2 more deaths than the state's numbers and Genesee 1. So that would bring the total to 63, making this the deadliest day in the state so far with 20 fatalities. Here's the situation in Metro Detroit, according to the state. The city of Detroit has 851 confirmed cases and 15 deaths. It has earned the distinction as one of the fastest growing hotspots for the coronavirus in the nation. Bridge Magazine reported that if you're looking at cases per 100,000 people, Detroit has more cases than any area of the country, except select cities in Louisiana and New York. There are 668 cases in Oakland County, with 15 deaths according to the state, 17 according to the county. 538 cases in Wayne County outside of the city, and 11 deaths. And finally, Macomb County with 347 cases and 11 deaths. A statistic that could change but is of note. 60% of the statewide deaths so far are men, though those stricken by the virus are balanced evenly between both men and women. Nationally, there were record-breaking unemployment claims last week, topping 3.28 million people out of work. Back here in Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has requested a federal major disaster declaration to try and unlock a variety of federal-funded aid programs. And there are concerns now about the Michigan State Legislature being exposed to the coronavirus. Detroit State Rep Tyrone Carter tested positive for COVID-19 about a week after a marathon 12-hour State House session. This is all according to the Detroit News. Speaker of the House Lee Chatfield urged lawmakers who were within 6 feet of Representative Carter to monitor themselves for symptoms. I'd also like to share something from the inboxes. I've noticed people saying that their workplace is staying open and that they are non-essential workers being forced to work. So a couple of things on that. One, it's illegal for your workplace if they're doing that. Although there are a lot of technicalities, the sniff test for in-person work, according to the state, is if your work is truly connected to saving lives or minimum business operations like payroll, say for remote workers. 2, without a name of a business that's offending, well, there's not much that can be done. Tips about unnamed businesses, well, we just can't follow up on them. We don't know where to go. What should you do? Well, it's report those unsafe conditions and practices to the Attorney General's office. The consumer complaint hotline is 877-765-8388. That's 877-765-8388, or online at michigan.gov/AG complaints. Then, if they're not listening to you, tell us who and what it's in regards to. Another law enforcement officer has died of the coronavirus. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office says Commander Donafay Collins died yesterday at the age of 63. He had served for nearly 3 decades. Collins leaves behind a wife and 4 children. The public may know him through his side gig as a DJ on 92.3 FM until about last year. Currently, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office has 18 confirmed cases of coronavirus within their ranks. Although public health officials are issuing stern warnings about bringing people back to workplaces too early, today came word that Ford is aiming to restart production at some plants in North America as early as April 6th. Ford is planning to resume production at the Hermosillo assembly plant in Mexico on April 6th for 1 shift. On April 14th, the day after the current executive order keeping many businesses closed is scheduled to end here in Michigan, Ford is planning to start building vehicles at a number of facilities across the country and here in Metro Detroit. Locally, they're aiming to open their Dearborn truck plant, Dearborn stamping plant, Dearborn diversified manufacturing plant, and portions of the Van Dyke transmission plant on the 14th. Fiat Chrysler says they're going to keep their headquarters and plants shut until April 14th as well, depending on the local situation. My 2 cents, and this is from talking to lots of people, it is clear to me that very few businesses are going to keep closed longer than mandated in an effort to keep the spread down. The only way they'll stay closed is with direct government action. Something to think about. Sandy the Pony is gone for now as the Michigan-based Meijer grocery chain takes new precautions. They will install plexiglass shields for all their check lanes this week. Other steps that Meijer is sharing: they've suspended the use of reusable bags by customers in its stores unless they're being used for the retailer's shop and scan program. I know that'll disappoint a number of people I know. Returnables are currently not being accepted, and marked X's are on the floor 6 feet apart in check lanes, pharmacy, and service desk counters. The retailer is also verbally reminding customers to stand on the X's when they wait in any lines. They say to stay at least an additional shopping cart of distance away from other customers. And as I said at the top, for now, Sandy the Penny Pony is in the stable. Sad times. The coronavirus might shutter a popular downtown Detroit entertainment complex as well as all of its sister locations around the country. Restaurant Business reports that the parent company of Punch Bowl Social had a deal with Cracker Barrel to save it financially. Reportedly, that fell through in light of inevitable future market changes due to the coronavirus, and that lenders are going to foreclose on all of the assets and locations of Punch Bowl Social. If you're not familiar, Punch Bowl isn't just a bar, but also has food, bowling, karaoke rooms, and other activities. Restaurant Business also reports that all locations have been shut down and the employees laid off. The owner of Punch Bowl Social says that he's working to arrange for reopenings and new financing. It's a bit of a confusing situation, and we will for sure dig for more. But at least here in Detroit, Punch Bowl has both provoked the ire of many community advocates as a tone-deaf establishment, at the very least, and at the same time in the past has been one of the top 10 places that buy liquor in the state that's not a casino. So obviously, they're also very popular. Joining me via Squadcast is Angela Rogan-C from Playworks, Michigan. Welcome to Daily Detroit.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I wanted to talk to you because I know of so many parents who are dealing with so many challenges right now. And Playworks Michigan has a few different options that are not just resources, but available every single day. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Absolutely. So Playworks was founded in 1996 on 2 playgrounds in California. We launched operations here in Michigan in 2010, and we are recess folks. We believe that every child deserves the opportunity to play at school and do so safely in an inclusive way. And so we have been for many, many years providing school partners across the community with caring, consistent adults to make sure that the kickball game goes well, that kids at basketball are able to learn the skills they need to be successful in life, like how to solve conflicts and how to negotiate and how to work together as a team. We take traditional playground games that require very little playground equipment and turn playgrounds into beautiful places. And now, faced with children out of school and being home, we've turned our attention to how to reach and support parents and those caring for children in this incredible time in our country's history. And so we are hosting virtual recesses on Facebook Live 3 times a day at 12, 2, and 4 p.m. to try and get kids moving. Play is the most important thing, I think, for children right now during this time, and making sure that we are giving them as much opportunity for them to engage in physical activity and play as possible, despite being home or in their living room or wherever they're hunkering down.
So how did all that come together? I mean, it's a really cool idea. And it's also, with the frequency, that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of work, but we pivoted very quickly. We've always been an incredible organization that has been constantly working to meet schools and kids where they're at. And within a few days of schools being closed across the country, we decided that we needed to try and help as many kids as possible during this time. And we already had an online platform prior to this whole situation, we had Playworks University that was geared towards adults. So we had framework educators, we had a framework online, and we just shifted all of our attention and mobilized our folks to make sure that we were able to reach children with play.
And then you've also got a pretty in-depth downloadable resource too, with different games that actually people can do with each other, right? Like parents and kids or brothers and sisters, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's an amazing resource that I would encourage every parent to go and look at, especially with a lot of time and maybe in their backyard. The games don't require much equipment. Again, most of our school partners have a couple $100 worth of kickballs and a football, basketball. You can play dozens of games with a kickball in our Playworks game guide. So that is a free resource that parents can download digitally. There's also a menu online that allows folks to search based on the age and the type of game that they would like to, so they can go right on their phones in real time and search for games that they can engage their kids as the weather warms up and folks are outside more.
I imagine, as you are working with a nonprofit, that these are especially challenging times because you're not only kind of switching from your day-to-day a little bit with some of the projects you were talking about at the beginning of our chat, but also, funding's another issue too. I hear that across the board. Is that something that is something that you all are looking to do too?
Yeah, so we need folks to support the Play at Home initiative. We also need folks in this time of crisis, all nonprofits, but we need to be there when schools open up and kids go back to school. And so we're calling on everyone, the community, to rally around the importance of play and of Playworks and consider making donations online to support our ongoing efforts to make sure that kids play every day.
Well, and if people want to access all of these free resources and these live classes, these live recesses, where can they do that?
Absolutely. So they can go to playworks.org/Michigan and find all of the resources there that are both local, and they can toggle through the webpage and find additional resources online. We also, again, go to Facebook and enter in Playworks, and you will find all of our live feeds from the recesses each day, as well as YouTube, where our live recesses are being housed. So folks can access them, 8 o'clock at night if their kids are a bit anxious and not ready to go to bed.
Well, and we will put links to all of that in the show notes. Angela Rogancy, thank you so much for your time on Daily Detroit today.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate your time as well.
Finally, a non-coronavirus story, but still important. The city of Detroit is building a temporary dam on the city's east side, with Great Lakes and river waters expected to be higher than last year. The dam, at a cost of $2 million, was deemed necessary to protect the Connor Creek Wet Weather Treatment Facility from being overwhelmed. It's going to be what's called a Tiger Dam, and no, it's not made up of Detroit Tigers players who would have had opening day today. They're delivered in 50-foot tube sections and then put together. Then they're filled with water. They can go as high as 32 feet. When they're empty, each tube is about the weight of a medium-sized dog, 63 pounds. Full, 6,300 pounds. I find something poetic about holding back the water, well, in a way, with more water. The dams will be installed along the entire seawall in the Canal District. That's over there in Jefferson-Chalmers, near the Grosse Pointe border. According to the city, residents have been notified an installation will begin March 30th. On a personal note, I love that little corner of town, and there's so many cool little places, so many cool stories. I hope a permanent solution gets figured out for this. After all, I always told myself one day I'd get a house on or near the canals over there. Feel like it'd be pretty great. The Venice of Detroit, if you will. All right, we are done for today. Thank you to our members on Patreon, including Alex, Mike, Matthew, Tom, and Aaron. Thank you very much for powering our coverage. It's greatly appreciated. If you haven't, think about telling somebody about the Daily Detroit podcast. The more people that come together, the more we can push Detroit's conversation forward. With that, I'm Chair Stays. Take care of each other, and we'll get through this together. We'll talk with you tomorrow.